Welcome back to GH Spoilers channel. Today we will learn about the issue happening in General Hospital. The day of Sonny Corinthos' heart surgery arrived like a heavy storm cloud over Port Charles. The tension inside General Hospital was suffocating. Friends, family, and associates gathered, waiting for news, each one carrying silent prayers that the man who had shaped so much of their lives would make it through. Carly Corinthos sat stiffly in the waiting room, her hands clenched tightly together. The surgeons, the best in their fields, worked tirelessly. Every stitch, every decision was made with precision. Hours passed, dragging slowly like years. Finally, the lead surgeon emerged with news. The operation was a success. Sonny had survived. Relief swept through everyone like a wave. Carly let out a sob she hadn't realized she was holding in. Jason merely nodded, but his fist slowly unclenched. Everyone believed they could finally exhale. Sonny, the man who had survived more enemies in crises than anyone could count, had once again beaten the odds. Inside his hospital room, Sonny rested. Monitors beeped steadily, a symphony of life. The room was calm, a rare peace that Sonny seldom experienced. As the night deepened and visitors dwindled, a figure entered the room. Dressed as a nurse, she moved with rehearsed ease. In her hand was a syringe, the contents lethal. She approached Sonny's bedside, masking her nervousness behind clinical efficiency. But Sonny's instincts never slept. Even in recovery, his senses screamed that something was off. The scent of the room changed, the rhythm of footsteps, the tension in the air. His eyes snapped open just as the nurse leaned in. Without hesitation, Sonny grabbed her wrist with surprising strength and twisted, forcing the syringe to clatter harmlessly to the floor. With a growl, he yanked off her mask, and the sight that met him was a gut punch. Natalia. Natalia, whom Sonny had trusted, had laughed with, had once considered part of his inner circle. Betrayal cut deeper than any blade. She fell to her knees, sobbing immediately, confessing that she had no choice. Sidwell had threatened her, she cried, forcing her into this impossible act. Sonny listened, stone-faced. Forgiveness did not come easily to him, and betrayal least of all. Natalia begged, her voice hoarse and desperate. Sonny, still weak but filled with a cold clarity, made a decision. He would not forgive. But he could still use her. In a flat voice, Sonny issued his command. She would call Sidwell and report success. She would tell him that Sonny Corinthos was dead. Tears streaming, Natalia obeyed. She made the call right there, her voice shaking, feeding Sidwell the lie that Sonny had perished quietly post-surgery. Sidwell bought it without question, relief and triumph evident even through the phone's tinny speaker. As soon as she hung up, Sonny's plan went into full motion. Jason was the first to be informed. His face darkened as he listened, his mind already running through the logistics of what Sonny intended. Brick was next. Within hours, every asset Sonny had was activated. Spinelli worked through the night, hacking into Sidwell's networks, tracing communications, gathering intelligence. Sidwell thought he had one. He expanded his reach, moving product, negotiating new deals, celebrating Sonny's demise with reckless abandon. He didn't know he had signed his own death warrant. Sonny disappeared from public view. Rumors spread like wildfire. Whispers of Sonny's gone moved through Port Charles and beyond. Enemies grew bolder. Old rivals began making moves, thinking the throne was vacant. But Sonny watched. He watched them all, from the shadows. In his hideout, Sonny grew stronger. The recovery was brutal. Physical therapy sessions left him gasping, drenched in sweat. But each day he regained a piece of his strength, and with each breath, his anger sharpened. Carly visited in secret. Their moments were brief but intense. She touched his face, memorizing the man she loved, feeling the rage brewing beneath his skin. She said little, knowing words would be wasted. Sonny's mind was locked on one thing: vengeance. Meanwhile, Natalia lived on borrowed time. Sonny had not promised her anything beyond her current usefulness. She operated under constant surveillance, every step monitored. If she showed the slightest sign of betrayal again, she would vanish without a trace. The trap was set. Jason and Brick confirmed Sidwell's location, a mansion on the outskirts of town, fortified but not impenetrable. Plans were drawn, escape routes mapped, contingencies layered upon contingencies. Timing would be everything. The night of reckoning arrived. Under the cover of darkness, Sonny moved with Jason and a small strike team. No fanfare, no announcements. Silent, efficient. They breached the perimeter, neutralized the guards, and made their way inside. Sonny insisted on leading the final approach himself. This was personal. Sidwell was in his study, laughing over a glass of whiskey, oblivious. Until Sonny stepped into the light. Sidwell's face drained of color. The glass slipped from his hand, shattering against the floor. For a moment, the room was frozen in disbelief. Then Sonny moved, crossing the distance in 3 measured steps. "You should have made sure I was dead," Sonny said quietly. Sidwell stammered, tried to reach for a weapon, but Jason was faster, disarming him with a brutal efficiency that left no doubt about the outcome. "You sent Natalia," Sonny continued, voice low but lethal. "You tried to kill me. You forced a friend to betray me. You thought you won." Sidwell tried to speak, but Sonny cut him off with a savage punch that knocked him to the ground. Blood pooled from Sidwell's mouth as he gasped for air. "This is your ending," Sonny said. Sidwell begged. Cried. Offered money, alliances, anything. Sonny wasn't interested. "I'm not here for deals," Sonny said. "I'm here for justice." What happened next wasn't quick. Sonny made sure Sidwell understood exactly why he was losing everything: his empire, his life, his legacy. Piece by piece, Sidwell's world crumbled. Files were seized, bank accounts drained, properties seized. By morning, Sidwell would be a ghost, wiped off the map. The final act was brutal. Sonny made sure Sidwell's associates saw what happened. He left a message written not in words, but in the ruins of Sidwell's once mighty empire. Sonny Corinthos was alive, and more dangerous than ever. News spread quickly. Port Charles buzzed with disbelief and fear. Enemies scurried back into hiding. Allies reaffirmed their loyalty. Sonny's name reclaimed its power, heavier than ever with legend and fear. Natalia disappeared after the operation, given a head start by Sonny but under no illusions that she could ever return. Her betrayal was a wound Sonny would carry, but he would not let it fester into weakness. Back at home, Carly welcomed Sonny with tears and fierce hugs. But she saw the difference in him. The surgery had healed his heart, but the betrayal had hardened his soul. Sonny Corinthos was back. Not just as the king of Port Charles's underworld, but as a man reforged in betrayal, vengeance, and survival. The world would never forget it. And this was only the beginning. Next, we're diving deep into a tantalizing mystery that has fans buzzing with excitement. Could there be a hidden connection between the enigmatic Professor Henry Hank Dalton and the notorious Shiloh Archer, also known as Hank Archer in his earlier days? This captivating theory, sparked by subtle hints in recent episodes, opens up a Pandora's box of possibilities about resurrections, mind control, and sinister schemes lurking in the shadows of Port Charles. Buckle up as we explore every angle of this storyline, uncover new layers, and speculate on the shocking twists that might await us. Let's start by revisiting the haunting legacy of Shiloh Archer, a character whose dark charisma left an indelible mark on General Hospital. Born as David Henry Archer, Shiloh rechristened himself Hank during a rebellious phase, distancing himself from his domineering father's influence. When he first sauntered into Port Charles, he introduced himself as Hank, a name that carried an air of casual charm before the chilling truth of his Dawn of Day cult came to light. His manipulative tactics and sinister agendas ensnared countless lives, leaving scars that still linger in the town's collective memory. Now, years after his supposed demise, whispers of his return have resurfaced, fueled by nostalgic mentions of Dawn of Day in recent scripts and peculiar behaviors from familiar faces. Could the ghost of Shiloh be haunting Port Charles once more, cloaked in a new identity? Enter Professor Henry Hank Dalton, a fresh character whose arrival has set tongues wagging. In the April 28th episode, during a seemingly innocuous exchange at the Savoy with Anna Devane, he introduced himself with a curious stammer, "I'm Henry Dalton, Hank." That fleeting hesitation and the deliberate use of Hank struck a chord with eagle-eyed viewers, especially given the timing. With fan theories already swirling about Shiloh's potential comeback, the choice of this moniker feels far from coincidental. Could the writers be dropping a breadcrumb trail leading us back to the cult leader's twisted legacy? The name Hank, once synonymous with Shiloh's pre-cult persona, now adorns this scholarly newcomer, inviting rampant speculation about hidden ties. Is Professor Dalton merely a red herring, or does his name hint at a deeper, more sinister connection to a past many hoped was buried? One theory gaining traction among fans is the unsettling possibility that Hank Dalton might actually be Shiloh Archer, resurrected and reinvented with a new face and demeanor to evade recognition. General Hospital has never shied away from dramatic returns from the grave, often employing soap opera staples like plastic surgery or hyper-realistic disguises to explain such miracles. Imagine Shiloh, once a master of manipulation, undergoing a transformation to become Hank Dalton, complete with a refined accent and a professorial air to mask his true nature. Perhaps he's returned to Port Charles with a vendetta, weaving a new web of deception under the guise of academia. This theory paints a chilling picture, a predator hiding in plain sight, leveraging his intellectual persona to gain trust while plotting his next move. If true, this reinvention could be Shiloh's most cunning act yet, fooling even the sharpest minds in town. Alternatively, let's consider a different angle. What if Hank Dalton isn't Shiloh himself but a devout disciple carrying forward his toxic ideology? Perhaps Professor Dalton adopted the name Hank as a reverent homage to his fallen idol, signaling his allegiance to the Dawn of Day principles. In this scenario, Shiloh could still be alive, orchestrating events from the shadows as the puppet master behind Dalton's actions. Picture a secret network of followers, revived in the aftermath of Shiloh's apparent death, with Dalton serving as a frontman for a larger, more insidious plan. This would add layers of intrigue to the storyline, as we uncover how far Shiloh's influence extends and whether his physical return is imminent. The idea of a cult reborn, operating under a new banner, sends shivers down the spine and promises a cascade of dramatic confrontations. Another fascinating twist involves Drew Kane, whose recent behavior, particularly his controlling tendencies toward Willow Corinthos, has raised red flags among viewers. Some speculate that Drew might be Shiloh reincarnated, his mind and actions warped by a past life's malevolence. But what if Drew is merely a pawn in a grander scheme? If Hank Dalton is indeed Shiloh or a follower acting on his behalf, Drew could be under a form of psychological manipulation or even advanced mind control, a tactic Shiloh perfected during his Dawn of Day days. Imagine secret hypnotic sessions or subliminal triggers planted years ago, now activated to turn Drew into an unwitting soldier in Shiloh's army. This theory not only deepens the mystery surrounding Drew's character arc but also intertwines his fate with Dalton's arrival, creating a complex tapestry of deceit and betrayal. The deliberate naming of Professor Dalton as Hank by General Hospital's writers cannot be overlooked. In a show renowned for its intricate foreshadowing, such details are rarely accidental. Whether Dalton is Shiloh in disguise, a loyal acolyte, or a key figure in a broader conspiracy, the shared name serves as a neon sign pointing to a connection. Perhaps the writers are setting the stage for a slow burn reveal, allowing suspicion to build as we observe Dalton's interactions with other characters. His academic background could be a cover for accessing sensitive information or influential circles in Port Charles, positioning him to execute a plan years in the making. Every glance, every word from Hank Dalton now feels laden with potential clues, urging us to watch closely for the next piece of the puzzle. Adding fuel to the fire, ABC General Hospital spoilers tease that Jocelyn Jacks will soon stumble upon shocking discoveries related to Professor Dalton. As a character known for her tenacity and knack for uncovering secrets, Jocelyn's involvement promises to accelerate the unraveling of this mystery. Will she notice something off about Dalton's demeanor or unearth a hidden link to Shiloh's past? Spoilers also hint at disturbing predictions from Jocelyn, suggesting she might foresee danger tied to Dalton's presence. Imagine her piecing together cryptic evidence, perhaps old Dawn of Day artifacts or coded messages that point to a looming threat. Her role could be pivotal, serving as the catalyst that forces other characters to confront the possibility of Shiloh's return or the resurgence of his destructive ideals. As this storyline unfolds, the implications for Port Charles are profound. If Shiloh or his influence has truly resurfaced through Hank Dalton or Drew, the town faces a storm of emotional and physical turmoil. Past traumas will be dredged up, alliances tested, and new battles waged against an enemy who thrives on chaos. The writers have a golden opportunity to explore themes of redemption, revenge, and the enduring impact of cult dynamics on individuals and communities. Will beloved characters like Willow, who suffered immensely under Shiloh's grip, find closure, or will old wounds be torn open? The stakes feel higher than ever, with each episode peeling back another layer of this gripping saga. In conclusion, the mystery of Hank Dalton and his potential ties to Shiloh Archer is shaping up to be one of General Hospital's most compelling narratives in recent memory. Whether he's a resurrected villain, a devoted follower, or a pawn in a larger game, his presence has reignited speculation about a dark chapter in Port Charles's history. With Jocelyn Jacks poised to uncover startling truths and the specter of Dawn of Day looming large, fans are in for a roller coaster of emotions and revelations. Stay tuned to ABC General Hospital spoilers as we continue to track every twist and turn in this enthralling story. What are your thoughts on Hank Dalton's true identity? Next, we're delving into the heart-pounding events of the April 28, 2025 episode, where Sonny Corinthos' recovery from open heart surgery took a surreal and suspenseful turn. From an emotional reunion with a cherished figure from his past to a near-fatal attack thwarted at the last second, this episode packed an emotional and thrilling punch. Join us as we unpack every riveting detail, introduce fresh perspectives, and speculate on the shadowy forces targeting Sonny in his most vulnerable moments. Get ready for a deep dive into a story that's keeping Port Charles on edge. First, let's explore the touching and surreal moment that unfolded as Sonny lay recovering from a life-altering open heart surgery at General Hospital. In the haze of sedation, Sonny found himself transported to a familiar yet dreamlike setting. The cozy confines of Bobby's, a place steeped in nostalgia and personal history. As he settled into the eerie quiet of the empty diner, a waiter approached, and to Sonny's astonishment, it was none other than his late father, Mike Corbin. The reunion was bittersweet, filled with a warmth that only a father and son could share, yet tinged with uncertainty. Sonny, grappling with the fragility of his condition, couldn't help but wonder if this ethereal encounter meant he hadn't survived the procedure. Mike, with a gentle smile and reassuring gaze, dispelled those fears, confirming that Sonny had pulled through the surgery with flying colors. This spectral visit, Mike explained, was merely a chance to connect during Sonny's sedated state, a tender moment carved out of the chaos of life. Their conversation turned to matters of the heart, both literal and figurative, as Sonny poured out his deepest anxieties about protecting his sprawling family, especially in the wake of recent turmoil. Mike, ever the pillar of strength even in this otherworldly meeting, offered words of encouragement, promising Sonny that solutions would emerge, even if the path ahead seemed daunting. This dreamlike exchange at Bobby's wasn't just a nostalgic interlude. It carried profound emotional weight for Sonny's character and the viewers alike. Imagine the flickering neon sign outside Bobby's casting a soft glow through the windows as father and son sat across from each other, the air thick with unspoken regrets and enduring love. Sonny, a man often defined by his steely resolve as a mob boss, revealed a vulnerable side, his voice cracking as he mentioned Michael's recent accident, a devastating event that has shaken the Corinthos clan to its core. Perhaps in this vision, Mike appeared not just as a comforting presence but as a manifestation of Sonny's subconscious need for guidance. The empty diner could symbolize the isolation Sonny feels amidst his responsibilities, a stark contrast to the bustling life he usually leads. Mike's assurance that Sonny would find a way to shield his loved ones without facing dire consequences felt like a beacon of hope, a reminder of the resilience baked into the Corinthos lineage. This scene beautifully captured the intersection of past and present, offering a poignant reminder of how family ties, even those severed by death, continue to shape Sonny's decisions and fears. However, the tranquility of Sonny's dream was a stark contrast to the sinister events unfolding in the real world of his hospital room. While Sonny conversed with Mike in his subconscious realm, a chilling threat crept closer in the form of a mysterious nurse. Under the guise of routine care, this shadowy figure slipped into Sonny's room, her movements stealthy and calculated. Clad in scrubs that belied her lethal intent, she approached Sonny's foreline with a syringe filled with an unknown substance, perhaps a deadly toxin meant to finish what his heart condition started. The tension in this moment was palpable, as viewers watched helplessly while the life of Port Charles's most complex figure hung in the balance. Was this an act of personal vengeance, a professional hit ordered by a rival mob family, or part of a larger conspiracy tied to Sonny's recent business dealings? The nurse's cold, detached demeanor suggested a professional at work, someone trained to eliminate without hesitation, adding a layer of dread to an already fraught situation.